Hello my lovely chihus, it's me, kisshuhua. Welcome back. And Twice have a lot of songs. I actually took it upon myself to count, and across all their albums, they have about 198 songs. Yeah, that might seem like a lot, but when I first started studying Twice, I sat at my barely functioning computer desk and listened to Twice's full discography with barely any movement if it wasn't to briefly take out my earphones so my eardrums didn't burst. But yeah, considering that Twice is turning 10 years old in 2025, I decided what better way to commemorate that than to listen to all of their songs so far. Now, quick disclaimer. I won't be including any remixes. I also won't be including different language versions of existing songs, so this means #Twice is excluded. The other Japanese title tracks will be included though. This video isn't a review of each individual Twice song at the time of making this video, so if you want to see something of that nature, I suggest you check out Jimi's video where he reviews every title track and single from Twice.
My favorite word is the word
รายการต่อไปนี้
It's very important to
รายการต่อไปนี้
It's an album. Like a lot. It's okay. The further I got into this album, the more I realized it's so much more different than the type of music they released even a year after this. I hope for their 10th anniversary they recreate the zombie thing. That would be sick. This is probably their most creative album by far outside of Signal. I can honestly never get sick of it no matter how many times I listen to it again. And Fetus Dion and this ombre, it haunts my dreams. Also, Do It Again exists. I wish I had more to say, but honestly, it's just a great introduction to Twice. Until page 2 comes in and says, fuck all of that. It's a really fun album, and honestly, I would love it more if people would talk about the B-sides. I only ever hear people occasionally talk about Precious Love, but it's okay. Headphones is my shit 100%. If I could describe this album in simple words, it's what I think snorting 9 consecutive lines of crack would feel like, excluding the part where that would probably fry the shit out of your brain. I cannot stress enough that this album is just so fun to listen to. Like, if someone asked me about Twice and asked me what I think their most enjoyable album was, it would probably come between Twice Coaster Lane 1 and this. This whole thing has also made me remember when I was a super new K-pop stan in mid to late 2021, and I just found out about Twice. I remember when I went to school the following years, I wouldn't shut up about Twice. I think the only thing that could make me stop talking about them was if someone literally closed my mouth. Overall, pretty great album. A time in my life when Jelly Jelly was my favorite song from Twice Coaster Lane 1. Now I'm a miserable person, and I feel like those two things are intrinsically connected somehow. No matter how much Paxton from Never Have I Ever tries to act like a mysterious nigga, we all know deep down he listens to this shit when no one's looking. I just now remembered when looking at the cover of this album that Nan had actually gotten something done to her teeth, I believe veneers, so it doesn't look like the bunny teeth thing that she had anymore, which is kind of sad, but we'll figure it out. I also love 1 in a Million. Again, not much to say, but I think it's a solid album. pretend to be a hater all I want, but Knock Knock will always be that girl. I also vividly remember in winter of 2022 fighting over what the official winter Twice song would be, and it was between 3 songs: Merry and Happy, Knock Knock, and Heart Shaker. Now don't ask me why I didn't include The Best Thing I Ever Did, because I don't really like that song, that's why. And in the end, Heart Shaker ended up winning, but in Big 24, I personally believe Knock Knock is a superior winter song for reasons I won't specify. This is slightly related, but Knock Knock was also featured in that Spies in Disguise movie from 2019, and if you don't believe me, here's a clip.
Imagine a hydrothermal explosion is about to melt your face off. But what's this? A gadget that can surround you in a pressurized pocket of safety? Can it work? It hasn't yet, but maybe.
This album was and still is my favorite from Twice. I remember one day at school, the music teacher let us play a song, and in a heartbeat, I chose Signal because I just needed the world to know how much I loved that song. I actually wanted the first album I ever owned from Twice to be the physical version of this album, and though it didn't end up being that one, I still can't stress enough how much I love this album. Like, if you asked me back in the day to recommend you a Twice album, I wouldn't have to think about it. Signal. I'm forever the biggest Signal glazer, and you can write that shit on my grave. For the album itself, I really love 3 Times a Day and Only You. I know most of you are gonna say, oh, well, my favorite is Eyes, Eyes, Eyes. Yeah, I know what you are. We all know exactly why you like that song. Overall, I fucking love this album, and if you have anything negative to say about it, take it up with my lawyer. When I say I get viscerally defensive when arguing about Twice's Japanese title tracks, I mean it. This is better than Perfect World. This is better than Dora. This is better than Kura Kura. This is better than Hara Hara. This is better than that stupid Feel Special knockoff sorry excuse for a song that we don't talk about. And dare I say, it's even better than Candy Pop. Again, another single album, so not much to talk about, but to be honest, I'd rather die for this album. I personally think that this is one of Twice's most meaningful songs and one of the most meaningful K-pop songs I've ever listened to, aside from JJ by IU and Guilty by Taemin. By this point, I was starting to go up a little bit crazy from doing nothing but listening to music, so I took a break to put up some LED lights in my room. Pretty fucking sick if I do say so myself. Twicegram is also way longer than most of their albums, and it's even longer than the most recent release of this year, actually. I don't hate EPs and mini albums, but I wish artists that have had great full albums in the past would do so more often. Most of the songs are pretty great songs, but my favorite of them all has to be Fast Forward. Also, this may be an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but I was never a big fan of Look At Me before or after it got popular. It's not bad, I don't hate it, but something about it just doesn't really do it for me. Another repack repackaged album, so not much to talk about. I figured I'd include this one because by the time this video comes out, it'll be Yule, Hanako, Kwanzaa, holiday season and stuff. If you didn't already know, based on my unnecessary run from the Twice Goes to Lane 2 section, I think Hot Shaker is superior to all of Twice's winter theme songs, and I'm not budging on that. Even though Merry and Happy isn't as good as Hot Shaker in my opinion, I have no problem playing it during this time of the year just because it's on theme. It's also a solid Christmas release, so I don't have much negative to say about it. I love candy pop, I really do, and I don't want this to turn into candy pop slander, but Brand New Girl is honestly a better song all around. I think next to Stay By My Side and One More Time, it's one of Twice's best Japanese songs. I also like the music video for it. Finally, the album that got me into Twice. Upon saying that, you might think I gotten into them around like 2018, but I actually didn't. It was in 2021 because for some reason that song had started really getting popular again. I have a fondness for this song for that reason. I don't think I'll ever dislike it. I remember vividly I had gotten an ad for a dance program website and I signed up for the trial and learned the entire chorus for What Is Love, when before that I had almost entirely hated K-pop. I still didn't understand how my attention span back then was good enough to then listen to every Twice album non-stop back to back, because in Big 24 this shit is not for the weak. I wasn't ever really a huge fan of the album as much as it was just Sweet Talker and What Is Love on their own, but Deja Vu is good too. Wake Me Up is one of the Japanese Twice tracks I'm a bit less favourable of. I can't really find much to dislike, but it's just nothing too special. I like it though, and that's not to say I can't listen to it voluntarily. As for Pink Lemonade, I don't think much different, though it's a bit more of a fun song. You might notice me being a bit more critical going forward, and that's less out of malice and more out of apathy that comes from me sacrificing my already sucky sleep schedule to make a YouTube video. Back on topic though, I think that Wake Me Up and Pink Lemonade are equally average songs in retrospect, but still super fun. And I don't care if you think it still counts, I will not be saying anything about the Jackson 5 cover. It's not an original song, it's not going to be included in the video. Thank you. Another repackage. I'm really glad Jimi doesn't do these anymore. I'm really ashamed to say this, but there was a time where instead of being a functioning member of society, I would argue with people about why Dance the Night Away is the best Choice song. Chillax is also a way better song when I really sit down and listen to it. Probably never would have considered it one of my favorites, but now it's definitely up there, though Moonlight's Crown will never tip. Dance the Night Away honestly isn't really a song I think about much anymore, and that's crazy considering how much I liked it back in the day. All I really have to say is Latino Geo and Ginger Cheong will be sorely missed. revisiting these is making me remember how many times I declared a Twice album as my favorite album and then immediately changed my mind a week later. The BTC album is probably one of my favorites purely because of the music video aesthetics. I've been listening to the songs from Twice's Japanese discography more, and they all just sort of charm to them. I really love all the songs equally, so I don't have a favorite, though Wishing comes very close. I'm right where I think as the albums are playing, so I'm really trying to finish as many songs as I can before I get tired. The horrid ombre disease has infected Dankon once again. Let's hope this is the last time we ever see our queen in such a critical state. I fell asleep halfway through this album and woke up with a nosebleed, and at the time of writing this part of the script it was 4 in the morning and I was still doing it. Honestly, Yes Yes era is so chill for the reason. Like, aside from Yes Yes, every song just flows like a river and it's so laid back. I hope that for the 10th anniversary they do something similar to this because I really like this concept for Twice. I've never seen Twice live, but if I did, this album's tracks along with What Is Love would be up there with the ones I want to see in concert, especially Sweet Talker, Deja Vu, and Aftermoon. This also reminds me of how in my old school YouTube was blocked, so I made an account on Adpuzzle and uploaded pirated versions of 4 Twice music videos that I would watch over and over unless I was at home. I remember Yes or Yes in particular I rewatched a lot. This was before I realized I could go on other sites like Vimeo and not only pirate but actually watch the music videos, but yeah. The best thing I ever did is an absolute hood classic. I used to have a weird love-hate relationship with the other baby ones, but we're over that. I fucking love it now. Also, Gio's vocals here are amazing. Heart Shaker may be the best Twice winner song in my opinion, but the best thing I ever did is still a close second. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Oh my god. People may call it overrated, but Fancy is really well produced and ages well so many years after. This song probably made a lot of people onces, even before Twice started doing a bunch of English singles. I really wish Girls Like Us would have got a music video because it's one of the better songs in the album. Hot is pretty outstanding too, and the chill vibe that the SAS album had is kind of followed here, which is why I like this one a lot as well. Turn It Up is also top tier. I don't think any of the other songs in the album can top this, ever. I'm grouping these two together because they technically take place in the same setting. I'm an avid Happy hater through and through, but after giving it another listen for this video, after not doing so in what was literally years, I might be warming up to it. I feel like a lot of these Twice songs I hated back in the day were because I based my opinion off of weird YouTubers and their opinions, which was stupid because YouTubers don't know anything. Most of them drop out of high school. Don't base your opinions off what I think, guys. Form your own opinions. I think Happy is a really nice song if you're not a miserable, hormone-driven middle school fuck shit like I was. As for Breakthrough, it took no consideration whatsoever for me to like it. I just did. Breakthrough has always been that one really good one that I always revisit every now and then because I used to be obsessed with it. Also, this one scene in the music video where Chewie is the same height as Geo always cracks me up because real influencers know this woman is a fucking giraffe. I remember before I was a once and we had bought one of the new Just Dance games because that was just something we did every year or so for years at this point, and I found this song in there, and despite swearing up and down back then that I hated K-pop, I loved playing that song. Also, the underlying messages in Feel Special that the different members in different parts of the music video represent different forms of love is something I could go on for days about. Love Foolish is an amazing song, but I cannot stress enough how much I love Get Loud as well. Sungyeon's vocals too. Give my girl her props. The vocals in 2129 are also next level. This one is so heavenly. I used to have a long-standing hatred with this song, which looking back I don't understand at all because it's not even that bad. It's actually really nice. I'm appalled at just the sheer amount of music Twice has, that we're on day 2 at this point and I'm not really close to done. Strong is a pretty good song too, and the whole album is really laid back. I don't think anything is particularly memorable, but it's good enough for me. I wish I had more to say, but yeah, just an average Twice album. I'm again only realizing after doing this that I haven't listened to Swing in full. Like, some of these songs I recall listening to, but I just slipped my mind, and most of the time, this I've never gotten around to listening to. It's a pretty fun song, and I wish I'd listened to it sooner, because I really like it.
More.
I love the song, but I love the music video even more. I mean, I put it in part of my intro, so that's to say enough. Aside from More and More itself, Oxygen and Sweet Summer Day are really cute. Also, I hear lots of monsters now talk about how they wish Twice went back to a cute concept, and on this note, I want to mention something. Everyone says that Fancy was when they had started switching up their concept, but I feel like that happened way after then, and that was in More and More instead, because the sound was way different from the one they'd had before. But other than that, More and More was a solid album, and was a good way for them to transition their music into a new direction. This song single-handedly changed my brain chemistry when I heard it for the first time. Fanfare is just so sickeningly happy in a way I can't properly explain. Everything is perfect. If I die, I want this played at my funeral. I also think it's among one of their best Japanese songs too. I fucking love I Can't Stop Me. I don't listen to it much, but the song is just perfect in every way. I love Gio's red hair. I love Momo's bob. Hell in Heaven literally makes me ascend. My favorite song though has to be Up No More. Nothing can beat it. I also think the production quality here for this album was slightly better, but that might just be a me thing. I also wish they'd just stop overlaying other members' vocals on Jonghyun's high notes, man. I really like Better, and the aesthetics of the music video are so pretty. They really hit the nail on the head with a lot of their Japanese songs, and I'm proud of their success over there. And on that note, I'm curious if they'll do something for the 10th anniversary in Japan, though they've technically only been promoting in Japan since 2017, which makes roughly 8 years. Scorpion's also great, but I rarely hear it talked about as opposed to their other Japanese Twice tracks. Cry For Me is such an amazing song that I feel like they didn't do enough with. I didn't see them promote it on music shows or even give it a music video. Yeah, it was just a digital single, but it's a good one. I also heard some people say that the music video of the song is lost media, but that's not true unless there's evidence that it was going to be officially released or even created in the first place, which there isn't really anything of the sort. Other than that, it's a solid single. I like the album, and Strawberry Moon has a really mysterious vibe. I can't explain it well. I love the structure of Kara Kara, but something about it makes it feel so short to me. Not much to say since this is another single album, so on to the next one. I have to say, I love Scandal so much above anything I have to say about this album is that Scandal is just so magical and it makes me sad. This, along with Queen from Eyes Wide Open, was also written by Dankon, so given she is one of my favorites personality-wise, it's no wonder I love it so much. Alcohol Free is such a unique song for Twice. I don't think they've done anything like it before, and since this album, they still haven't. It's really something of its own and I appreciate it. Also, the outfits and Jaeyoung's pink hair here are so cute. I liked the music video where they were performing in the theater and all the people were wearing masks, because it feels like symbolic of something I haven't yet been able to put my finger on. I love Four Leaf Clover, Pieces of Love, and Thank You Family. The whole album, to be honest, is stellar. All I want to say here is if the Twice performed at my prom, I wouldn't be as nonchalant as these people in the music video. The feels outsold. Thank you, next. Now this is my time to yap. Holy shit. I love scientists even though I used to be a huge hater. I love Icon. I love Moonlight. I love Cruel. I want this album injected into my bloodstream, but not in a normal way, in a heroin way. I love the aesthetics of the album and the music video so much. I just wish Moonlight and Fall in Love Again had gotten one as well. This album is also where the side-eye thing on TikTok came from, since some of you guys don't know. Solid mini album, but I wish it was longer. I also really like Wonderful Day. Another one I hadn't heard until recently because I didn't listen to the Celebrate album in full when it came out. But when I did get around to it, it was okay. Nothing to write home about, but it's good. love to celebrate and Voices of Delight, and though this isn't an album I find myself going back to often, it's still pretty good. All I know is Celebrate is exactly what I'm gonna do when Jackson Lang finally retires. Everything about this album, from the rollout to the actual release day, was just perfect. I remember so many things from this era so vividly. I remember the day, and I remember I had practiced the dance one day in science class because we had free time. I even remember showing the dance to my dance teacher and she said she liked it. I also tried to order the album at the time and inputted the wrong address on Amazon, so some randos, probably not even a once, got a free copy of Between 1 and 2 Pathfinder version. Since it was the first K-pop album I ever owned a physical copy of, I loved showing it off whenever people came over to the house. I'm pretty sure, aside from Gone, I can sing at least one line from each of the tracks by heart. I love Queen of Hearts and When We Were Kids the most, but all of the songs have potential on their own. I recall the hours before this was released, I stayed up for the premiere countdown, waiting with bated breath. It came out and I listened to the whole song and I was overjoyous. I streamed the hell out of Moonlight Sunrise when it came out, and I told my friends about it even though I knew they didn't care about K-pop at all. I was even more excited when I found out Twice would release an album later this year. But about that... I know this video is mainly about music, but we can't really bring up this era without mentioning the elephants in the room, because most of the other sections of this video are recounting memories in relation to the album release. Fully Uninformed, around the time Twice was promoting Set Me Free, Chaeyoung wore a shirt in one of the performances that had the QA symbol on it that's largely associated with MAGA. And in an Instagram post, I had worn a shirt with the Hakon Cruz symbol. I don't usually associate this era of Twice with good memories because of the behavior directed to people who expressed issue with her that was largely sometimes anti-Semitic. And I, at first hand, have actually received mass death threats and even worse from folks due to my opinions on her in the situation. Of course, this isn't all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to give it a mention because people shouldn't be brushing stuff like this off easily. I really liked Wallflower and Crazy Stupid Love. I also liked the action film thing they were going for in the Set Me Free music video. I also remember Twice doing a collaboration with Roblox for this album rollout, where you could tour a Roblox version of the music video set and call the members. It was really fun, and JYP should do more stuff like this when artists release albums. This section is probably going to be the longest section of the video, but so be it. This era was so fun but also chaotic. I'm sure you'll remember when they released the dance teasers on the official Twice Japan TikTok page and people started speculating what place each member would have in the choreography. Most of them were wrong, but it was great seeing the fandom be creative instead of overusing the word twink and arguing with outside fandoms once. I loved Hare Hare when it came out, especially because it was one of the videos I watched on the plane when I moved. I still miss you, New Jersey. It's one of my favorite Twice Japanese songs from recently. Recent meaning like 2021 and on. It was a nice little track to celebrate the end of the year, and also works as a winter song. Don't listen to this one much, but I like it. Maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the bed when this was released, but I didn't care for I Got You when it came out. Maybe it was my waning interest in favorite other groups at the time, but I just found it boring. I gave it a listen though. It's not a bad song and the vocals are really pretty. The most I really remember from when this came out was having little hormone-driven Varmins harass me in Twice's comment section for making a joke about Savannah being scared of Chaeyoung. They also did this to a smaller extent in another comment section of a video with Suyeon and Chaeyoung. This time they got mad because I complimented Suyeon, and that automatically means I was trying to bring down Chae. What? Anyways, I really liked it. I remember seeing One Spark come out and feeling like, not that it was bad or even an average song, just that it came out at the wrong time. The whole theme of the song and how they did it, it would have worked better as an anniversary single to be released in 2025, but I'm not necessarily upset that it was released at the time that it did. I also didn't really have much time to sit down and listen to this album when it came out because I was so busy with other things in life that I honestly missed a lot of releases from the artists that I also follow. I did hear one of the songs, Rush, on my feed and I really liked it. I didn't listen to this album when it came out, and I know you might already be thinking, oh my god, Chris, how many of Twice's albums have you flat out not even listened to until now? But this time, I have a good excuse, and that's because I thought the album wasn't available in my region, and that I'd have to either wait or pirate it, and I wanted to do neither. It was very late on when I realized it wasn't region locked, so now I've given the whole album a chance. I really like Ocean Deep and Echoes of Heart, and I think I'll be revisiting this album more going forward. I like the song a lot without their feature, so I thought I wouldn't like it when Megan came out, but I was pleasantly surprised. I like that Megan herself added a new verse, so it was different enough from the original version of Mamushi for me to judge it fairly. I also thought the audio mixing was a bit odd, but it didn't bother me much. I liked Twice's verse as well as Misamo's parts in the chorus. Overall, good, but could have been better. Strategy on its own was an okay song, and I felt like it was missing something until Megan came in. I hate saying things like this when artists do features, but Megan carried the song from that point on. I also really like the outfits they did for the stages here. I'm also glad to see JYP finally promoting their English songs on music shows, because before they always just released pre-recorded performances of the song in 2 locations. Aside from Strategy alone, I really liked Kiss My Troubles Away and Magical. Now that I've finished this album and all the other albums and singles, there's one song left. Unlike the others here, I'm absolutely listening to this one for the first time while writing this video script. It was a bit short in my opinion, but that didn't hinder my enjoyment of it. It was made as a collaboration with Family Mart, and I liked it though. Nice winter vibe to it, and it's a promotional song, so it was as good as those can get. So, long story short, I think my depression is cured, folks. That's it. That's every Twice song to date. I really enjoyed listening to these songs because it brought back a lot of memories I have for Twice, even though some of those memories weren't too positive. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's going to take a while to make. I'm kisshuhua, and I'm out.